Hello, my name is Raymond Karczewski. I'm coming to you from my home here in Cave Junction, Oregon. Tonight I'd like to share with you a letter that I sent to my Oregon political decision makers concerning the commercial default and dishonor of Josephine County Sheriff Gil Gilbertson and Josephine County Risk Manager Rosemary DeLashmont in their breach of oath of office. It is an open letter to all Oregon decision makers concerning the Oregon people's growing awakening to their public servants' criminal conduct, cover-ups, and criminal complaints, repeated commercial defaults, and subsequent commercial dishonor, along with their demonstrable, open disdain for the United States and Oregon state constitution in the enforcement of laws according to their oath of office. Either we, as the sovereign people, the maker of law, are a nation of laws, or we are not. The sovereign people are the true government, while each of you have been elected, appointed, and hired to carry out the will of the people, to be the servants of the sovereign people of Oregon and these United States of America. That is your limited function, the sole purpose for your existence. The problems emerging in our society today are directly attributable to the skewed philosophy currently held by you, our public servants, who somehow see that we, the sovereign American people, the creator of government, your employer, to be presumed sureties for the debts of the juristic person, a fictional creation of government lawyers, as seen by the courts, and thereby relegated to be wards of the states, infants in the eyes of the law, operating at less than full legal capacity in law, and through such legal trickery and deceit have become transformed into consensual subjects, slaves, to the corporation and its policies, which masquerade as color of law. Such a house divided cannot stand, and I am sure you folks are fully aware of that. I am not the enemy of true law enforcement. I have never been the enemy of true law enforcement, for as a young man I took the same oath of office each of you have taken as a police officer, before I became awakened to how that oath has been morphed into meaningless words uttered by men and women of questionable integrity. I have since rescinded my 14th Amendment status, am no longer subject to the corporation which calls itself government, and hold myself in my true status as a man of the sovereign people. You have copies of such rescindment records in your files as result of your false prosecutions and incarceration of this living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient natural man. Your corporate policies, masquerading as law, have been used to harm me and my family. I have sought remedy for 8 years to the blind eyes and ears of my public servants. I cannot and will not let that go, for such criminal implementation of such policies were instrumental in the death of my wife, Anita, of 49 years. It never had to happen. for I was never the enemy of my government, until my government declared me to be their enemy, a paper terrorist, for trying to hold my public officials accountable for their crimes and cover-ups. Even they knew their charade would not stick when they were forced to release me when I refused to accept their contract offer of sentencing. On what grounds was I able to reject their offer? On the fact of their refusal to establish proof of jurisdiction over this living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient natural man, after demands made in some 20+ hearings and 2 trials. By your own laws and policies, Sheriff Gil Gilbertson and Chief Financial Officer, Risk Manager, Rosemary Delashmont, are now in commercial dishonor, yet not a peep of their forfeiture of bond, their insurance coverage, and removal from office can be heard by the public. That is the reason for this letter. The people of Josephine County and the state of Oregon are awakening once again to their true status of sovereign people, the creator of government, your employers. Their patience is being sorely tested while you continue in your past tactics of stonewalling the very question which goes to the very heart of freedom of the American people. As for our present relationship, there exists a mountain of evidence that I have been harmed by your corporate policies which masquerade as law. I am ready and willing to settle this matter with you, since my actions from the very beginning have been that of self-defense against a faceless system of growing tyranny. That is not as it should be, and I have done my part to expose the truth of how you folks operate in the name of the law. It would be foolishness on your part to ignore such an open invitation to reconcile this public injustice you have inflicted upon this one man of the sovereign people. For governments which rule by force shall reap the whirlwind of force, while governments which rule with wisdom shall reap the benefits of such wisdom. Public servants cannot seek refuge from behind a stone wall of silence when the stone wall comes tumbling down upon them. It's your move.